Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, January 27th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith. We hope you enjoyed your Sunday. Of course, NFL Conference Championships were the headline event, but there was some hockey on Sunday, and we will break that down and recap Sunday's action in just a moment and look ahead to Monday, where we have ourselves 5 NHL games on tap on this Monday night slate. So we'll get to that in just a moment. We do want to mention something, though, first about the AFC and the NFC Championship game that we ended up seeing yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles, just a little bit too much offensively for Washington. Give them credit. They get the job done and turn it into a blowout in the second half. And if that game is the poster child of why turnovers kill you in the playoffs, and we saw that, obviously, Washington with not one, not two, but 3 critical turnovers that Philadelphia capitalized on. They did a decent job moving the ball themselves, but you just can't give Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, who had a huge day once again, and the offense, all that opportunity. And certainly it was a great win for Philadelphia, leaving no doubt, turning it into a blowout. And then, of course, so they're on to the Super Bowl. And, of course, Kansas City, Buffalo. What more can you say? Buffalo sports, where torture and heartbreak reign supreme. Just pure, unadulterated, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking torture for that city. And look, there's been some great moments with the Bills, at least with the Bills. They've won some playoff games. They've been one of the better teams in the NFL the last several years. Sabres have been a joke for the last, 10 plus to 12 years. But the bottom line is, when you're talking championships and so close, but no cigar, there's not many cities. Maybe Minnesota can make that claim as well. But there's not many cities that can top Buffalo in that regard. It's probably actually worse for Minnesota because they have more pro sports teams of the Big Four. They've got everything. They got NFL.
It trickles into college even.
Yes.
So, it's a little deeper here.
Yeah, it's a little deep. And yet they get nothing out of those teams. Buffalo's only got 2. They got NHL. They got NFL. That's it. Bills and Sabres. So maybe not as bad, but poor Buffalo, man. They deserve something good to happen. And unfortunately,
they do.
Yesterday. And they lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. And look, for the people that are in the conspiracy theory crowd, there were some calls that went the Chiefs' way. More of the calls went the Chiefs' way than didn't. And it certainly influenced the game and enhanced the Chiefs' chances of winning. But I can't get there with the refs blatantly gave the game to the Chiefs. Because at the end of the day, the Bills and Josh Allen had the ball in his hand, one of the MVP candidates in the league, down by 3, 2 minutes to go, put a drive together, get points on the board. He couldn't do it. And you got to give Spagnuolo credit for blitzing the hell out of him on fourth down. The corner blitz, and that's the issue right there. To me, in this Bills-Chiefs playoff series, where the Bills are now 0-4 against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, the difference to me has been in the critical moments of the football game. The Chiefs know what they want to do. They know what play they want to run. They run it, and they execute it, and they get it done. Buffalo is not that way at the end of these close games. They run a play. Kansas City knows what's happening, and Kansas City thwarts it. That's been the difference. Each and every time when these two teams play in the playoffs, it's just Andy Reid and his staff seem to be just that one scheme, that one decision, that one play call at the right time versus McDermott and his staff, one play call at the wrong time ahead. And it's been all the difference in these just nail-biting affairs that always, time in and time again, seem to go to Kansas City. Head-to-head versus Buffalo. Like, these have been 3-point games, down to the wire, overtime games. Like, Buffalo's been right there, but it's been those little plays here and there that have been the difference. And to me, that's a little bit coaching. And McDermott's a good coach, but he's not been able to overcome Reid and his staff, who have just been absolutely spectacular. And Spagnuolo, man, give him all the credit. I mean, he just seems to dial up the right defense at the right time. And it's won them so many games in the past here in the playoffs, and it did that once again yesterday. That being said, Dalton Kincaid, man, he's going to be the Mark Andrews of this weekend. Nightmares, because he probably, it's tough, right? It's a scramble drill. down the field. That ball was up in the air. It was a Hail Mary prayer from Josh Allen as he was getting hit on that 4th down. But Kincaid, it was right there, man. It hit his arm, right in his hands there, right in his arm, and dropped it. Couldn't catch it. And that's tough to see. But here we go with the Chiefs. I mean, looking for history and their 3rd straight Super Bowl championship, something that hasn't been done in the modern era. But Alex, any thoughts from you briefly on what we saw in the NFL?
Well, we talked about it yesterday, and I know you said you liked Buffalo, you liked Washington, and I was saying that the more things change, the more things stay the same in the National Football
I did
League.
have my Buffalo teasers one, and spread. Well, the alt spread parlay with Buffalo and Washington lost, but I had alt spread parlay with Buffalo plus 8.5, plus 10.5, and overs from both games, which really helped. And I also had straight over bets on both games. That's what really pulled me through yesterday.
Yeah, there was a ton of money. There's a ton of money to be made. My teasers hit with Eagles and Bills. I think that was the biggest teaser most people had in that cash through. But like I said, rookie quarterbacks, like I said, making mistakes. Those turnovers loomed large, and the Eagles are a team that can capitalize on that. Like you said, it's the coaching. These are disciplined teams. These are well-coached, well-led teams. There's a reason why these two teams have already met each other in the Super Bowl within the last 5 years. So we're going to see a rematch. It's going to be a heated one. And like I said, the more things change, the more they stay the same. There's a reason we haven't seen a team win 3 Super Bowls in a row, and I kind of think that might continue to happen.
All right. Well, there you go. A little teaser for the Super Bowl. We got 2 weeks to worry about that. We will actually, the last show we do before the Super Bowl, we'll throw out a couple bets we like, props we like, that kind of thing. It is a hockey show, but look, let's be honest. We're not kidding anybody here. Football's kingpin. Nobody watches more sport more in North America than the NFL. It's just the way it is.
Can I say this? Can I say this? Yeah. Can I say this too? Y'all will still continue to watch the National Football League. Y'all will still continue to bet on the National Football League.
You too, Matt. I know you will. Matt Robinson's going to be watching his Niners next year. Don't give me that nonsense.
Don't give me this shit,
Matt. Look, I'm with you. I hate it too, Matt. There's a lot of things about that game I hate yesterday. Yeah. But who's kidding who that I'll never watch the NFL again? I don't buy that for a second.
The officials have been ass in this league for as long as we've been alive. So it's not going to change. We're still going to watch it. We're still going to bet it. We still love football. That's just how it goes.
I'm cutting. I absolutely will not, he says. Yeah. Wow. Let's see in September. I'll see you in September, my friend. That's all I'll say about that. I'm cutting out like 50% of my handicapping and subscrition revenue if I stop watching and betting NFL. I'll tell you that right now. So it's not going anywhere in my life. I can tell you that.
Yeah, ain't changing for me.
It's not going to be unhappy. There's going to be unhappy. There's going to be some unhappy subscribers if I say, "Oh, Ian's doing away with the NFL service this year." No, that ain't going to happen. It's just bad business on my part for me to do that. All right, enough with the football. It's time to get back to hockey. We had a pretty interesting Sunday card yesterday. Excuse me. In the NHL. I mean, heartbreak city for us with the first game, Colorado and the New York Rangers. We all liked the draw. We all thought it was worth it. It was one draw after another with these two teams head-to-head. And Panarin ties at 4-4, and we think we're going to get there. There was a late penalty, though, taken by Colorado to give the Rangers a power play. So when you look at this situation here, you thought, just get this penalty killed, get this thing to overtime. But the worst thing possible happens for those of you on the draw, which Alex and I were. Makar steps out of the box. The puck's going through the neutral zone. He joins what became a 2-on-1 rush with Arturi Lehkonen, and bam, into pass to Lehkonen in the back of the net. 15 seconds left to give the Avs a 5-4 win in that game. Just vicious, Pete. Vicious, as Paulie Howard would say, with the Colorado Rangers draw in that game. 5-4. Avs find a way to win. That's a heartbreaking no points to get for the Rangers, where every point is critical for them right now. And to lose in regulation, makes that very, very difficult. Utah and Ottawa, 3-1 Ottawa, getting the victory over the Utah Hockey Club in that game. Another solid defensive performance. And, we talk about all our over streaks. We need to start talking about this under streak for the Ottawa Senators. I think this is now, 16-1? Or 16-1-1. It's something really strong to the under. Full game, I mean. Full game unders for the Ottawa Senators. And it was another easy peasy under if you took it yesterday with that 3-1 Senators win over the Utah Hockey Club. They're not scoring a ton. And look, even without Allmark, Merrill Linen's gotten the job done. He's been rock solid more often than not. Forsberg even had a solid effort in the win against Toronto on Saturday night. So it's an under palooza right now with the Ottawa Senators, and they get a 3-1 win against Utah there. Very impressive considering it was a back-to-back for them. Winnipeg 5-2 against Calgary. That's 2 games in a row, Alex. I've practiced what I've been preaching about Winnipeg. When they're a big favorite and you like them to win, take the opponent team total under 2.5. And I did that with Calgary yesterday, and I did that with Utah Friday night against Winnipeg. 2-0 both times, 2 goals. And so this is now 8 or 9 straight wins for Winnipeg, 8 or 9 straight wins for the Jets where they've held the opponent to 2 goals or less. So if you like Winnipeg and you don't want to lay the big price on the money line, just take team total under 2.5, the opponent. And it happened again, 5-2 win for the Winnipeg Jets there in that one. And the team total was -140. So you'd rather lay -140 than, the -220 it was on the Winnipeg Jets there. There it is, 15-1-1 under run for the Ottawa Senators, their last 17 games. The best streak in hockey keeps on rolling. Minnesota, Chicago, 15-1 now for the first period over for the Chicago Blackhawks in the last 16 games. Minnesota, now, obviously, John Hines' comments resonated because they came out storming. What was it, 11-1? Shots on goal for the Wild in the opening period. They got the 2 goals to go up 2-0 in that game. Then they made it 3-0. Chicago, valiant effort, and the bargain bin comes through. Frankie Nazar, Frank the Tank, plus 490. Gets it done, his second straight game with a goal. You start riding this guy from a goal prop standpoint. That's what you start doing because he's playing with Bedard. And I've said this, and it's crazy how often it comes to fruition. When you can't buy a goal and you get that first one, it's just monkey off the back syndrome. It's confidence that goes right to your legs, right to your skates, right to your stick. And just like that, here's Nazar, who couldn't buy a goal, now with 2 straight games with a goal. It's crazy how that works. Great to cash the bargain bin and the best bet. It was a consensus best bet sweep. This was my best bet. This was Alex's best bet. This was Mikey's best bet, the first period over in this game. Now 15-1 in the last 16 Chicago games. And I had the full game over because I had it at 5.5 at DraftKings. That cashes in as well with the 4-2 Minnesota win in this one. One thing I also want to point out here is that Marcus Foligno scored the empty netter. I considered betting him because, playing his brother on the other side, Nick Foligno, and sure enough, Marcus gets the empty netter. This is fascinating here because we're going to talk just a little bit. How long is this going to go? How much legs does this Chicago first period overrun have in it? Because it was obviously 11 straight overs to the first period. We finally lost one, which snapped the 11-game streak with the Chicago-Nashville game a couple weeks ago, 11-1. But as we often do, we play bumper stumpers when we're riding a streak. We're not out until we lose 2. And since that one loss to snap the 11 straight first period overs, they've now ripped off another 4 straight to get it to 15-1 in the last 16 Chicago games to the first period over. So the question I ask you, Alex, is how long is this going to keep going? This is amazing stuff because in sports betting, when something starts to cash at a 15-1 clip, there's supposed to be an adjustment in the number. There's supposed to be an adjustment in the price, and there's barely any adjustment in either during this entire run of Chicago first period overs. And that's the beauty of these streaks, especially in a sport like hockey. The adjustment is minimal, and it's going to take forever for it to happen.
That's true. Well, now as I'm looking on BetStamp and I'm seeing some of the opening odds, the overnight lines for tomorrow, I'm seeing -140 at Caesars. That's a book that typically will run a little cheaper with first period over, so we might start to see some adjustment with the price. But as far as how long can this go? And playing Tampa Bay tomorrow, we just saw them go over the first period with Tampa Bay. Obviously, Tampa's an electric team. And Tampa got their own issues as well. Now coming back home off of a long road trip, so good spot there for the first period over. I will be on that tomorrow. Then you're at Carolina. Once again, another team where we saw first period over. At Florida in a day game. That could be a tricky spot. Then at home against Edmonton, and then home against Nashville. So maybe we ride this the next 3 or 4 spots, and then We could take a break with it against Nashville, who's a historically first period under team, and then we can hop back on it or make any adjustments from there. Obviously, only a couple more games after that, leading into the Four Nations break. So this could run from now until the end of the Four Nations break potentially. So I will continue to at least have something on it for at least the next 4 games.
Yeah, it should be exactly. Like I said, 15-1, and you're right. The Four Nations break, to just so everyone's aware of it. Sunday, it's basically Super Bowl Sunday is the last day of NHL action before the Four Nations face-off break. So that's Sunday, February 9th, and then we go on Four Nations break. And I'll make sure I recite the schedule of the show schedule for the Four Nations face-off, because there aren't games every day during the Four Nations face-off break. So we are going to have some days off where we don't have the show, but we will be there for every game day, every Four Nations face-off game day during that tournament. So schedule for that to be determined. I think I'm missing one game. Oh, yeah, Florida-Vegas. That was a Vegas win last night. I thought the spot was pretty good for Vegas last night, and they get the job done 4-1. The end of an already pretty successful road trip overall for the Florida Panthers. But Vegas, what's good news is they got back to good, tidy defensive play. Because, look, they've been giving up more goals lately. I know Bruce Cassidy's not happy about it. Hasn't been happy with his goaltending. Aiden Hill had a really good game last night. So that's good to see for Vegas, something they were looking for. A bounce back in the defensive department, and they certainly did that last night with the 4-1 win against Florida. Alex, anything you want to add on Sunday? And then we'll get to Monday.
No, I mean, like I said, we talked about with Chicago, Minnesota, that first period overtrend. And it's unfortunate, obviously, that it was Minnesota with 2 goals and them leading to a 4-2 victory. But they needed that. We talked about it. We said the quotes from John Hines, like I said, kind of weird and somewhat cryptic. We're looking like we're trying to lose, as if we're not giving a full effort, and that it was just a weird wording of calling his team out, but they stood and delivered and got an important 2 points, and like I said, and get it done in regulation. Don't screw around with a lower team like the Hawks and go to overtime, go to a shootout. Yeah, now you have to just bottle that up and take that energy back home. That's the big key for the Wild moving forward. So that was my big takeaway from that. I watched a little bit of Vegas, Florida, but didn't really track that one too much. Of course, the horrible beat of Colorado and the Rangers. It's not often you're going to have a bad beat happen when you're talking about the draw, but that's certainly one of them. I mean, to have a 2-on-1 with a player coming out of the penalty box in the dying seconds, like how often does it happen? I mean, it's two days in a row with the Avalanche where you're so close to a draw and it just gets pulled away from our hands. So I don't know. We'll maybe keep looking for it though. Maybe one of these will come through at some point. At some point, they've got to have a game tied in the third and not be trailing or leading. So.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see. That's obviously been a major stumbling block for them. All right, let's get into Monday. We've got 5 games. We'll begin with the Kings and the Red Wings. Los Angeles minus 145 road favorites. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they'll look to rebound from that. The Kings played Detroit earlier this year, back in November. It was a 4-1 Kings victory in LA over the Red Wings. Detroit has kind of righted the ship. For the first time, they had suffered 3 straight losses under Todd McClellan, and they have bounced back since then with back-to-back home wins over the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens. We'll see if they can continue that moving forward here in this game with the Detroit Red Wings. This is a game where it's an LA bounce-back spot. It's an LA team that's been reasonably solid, in these situations. We'll see if they can. They've had a couple of, it's funny because they had a 3-game win streak to begin the month of January. They lost 2 in a row, then beat Vancouver. They lost 2 in a row, then they beat Florida. They lose to Columbus after that. The pattern's been they lose 2 in a row, then they bounce back. So I'm leaning Detroit here. I just like this price, plus 125. They've played better here the last 2 games. Don't love the idea of going against the Kings off a loss, but at this price, it's the Red Wings if I were to get involved in it. I think from a total standpoint, I'd probably lean under, believe it or not. Detroit schooled off with the overs. They were just an over machine in the early onset of games with the coaching change. First periods were going over. The full games were going over. They're now on a 3 unders, 3-0-2, 3 unders, 2 pushes, basically, in their last 5 games. We'll see if that carries over here to this game tonight. It's been an over series history with Red Wings and Kings. There had been 5 straight overs till that game in LA, which stayed under. But there's nothing real strong for me, side or total, in this game. Just maybe a lean to Detroit because I do like the Red Wings at home when they're getting a price like this. They do have a 14-11-2 home record, and LA is in their much worse split. They're 5 games below the 500 mark on the road at 11-16. It's 16, by the way, is regulation and overtime/shootout losses combined, by the way. So it's 11-11-5, but what I do is I combine the 11 plus the 5 in the loss column and call it 11-16 on the road. So like I said, I think at this price I lean Detroit here. I don't love it though. I'll admit that. What do you think here, Alex? Kings, Red Wings.
I think I stay off of this game because I was leaning toward LA, but this price has now kind of crept up to a point where I can't back, like I said, especially on the road. But and I know Detroit.
I do like some props though. I'll get to those.
Okay, Detroit a little bit better to back at home, but I just don't feel comfortable riding with them. So this is one, like I said, it's a short card, not a whole lot of great spots, but this game it's nothing here for me.
Yeah, Kemper in net for the Kings. It should be Cam Talbot for the Red Wings. We'll see. Drew Doughty is closing in on a return, by the way. He's traveling with the team. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. Yeah, that's a good point, Terry. Todd McClellan against his old team. You're right. This will be the first time, actually, him going up against L.A. since, of course, they fired him. And that was, of course, the most recent team he coached before he got hired by Detroit, was this Los Angeles Kings team. So does win one for the Gipper take over? That's going to be the question mark here. But yeah, like I said, I lean Detroit. They do have some injuries, though. Petrie on the blue line on IR. Patrick Kane was placed on IR recently. JT, City of Comfer, crazy motherfucker named JT Comfer. He's going to be out for the Detroit Red Wings. Vladimir Tarasenko, he's day-to-day right now for the Red Wings as well. So the injury's starting to mount a little bit. Actually, for him, it's an illness, not an injury, but game-time decision. It's the latest on his status, so we'll see if he's able to suit up here for Detroit in this game. Props-wise, there are a few that I do like here in this game. We've mentioned with the LA Kings how Alex Turk, I've seen him mention him every game. To be honest with you can't go wrong either, especially with them losing the last game. That's when Kopitar and Kempe are supposed to step up. So you could maybe look in that direction as far as player props go. We mentioned Fogle a lot lately. Ferrier came back, got an assist against Columbus. Keep an eye on him. He's a streaky player. I'm waiting for him to maybe pop for a goal, and if he does, maybe then we'll get involved. And then on the Detroit side, hey, we're going back to our guy here, Casper. It's dad's trip for LA. Good point. That's a good thing to be aware of. Dad's trip here for LA. So more reason probably to lay off than get involved in it. But I'm going back to the well with our guy here, Casper, the friendly betting ghost, right here for the Detroit Red Wings. He scored in the Tampa Bay victory on Saturday night, 3 goals in the last 6 games. If you go back further than that, 5 goals for him in the last 9 games since he's been elevated up to that top line for the Detroit Red Wings alongside Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. So Marco Casper, man, and Berggren's the other guy. Berggren's also had a little bit of a step-up effort lately offensively. Those are the 2 props that definitely where that I see some value here for Detroit. All right, New Jersey, Philadelphia. We've got the Devils minus 140 road favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Sheldon Keefe gets the W in his 400th game as an NHL head coach. Saturday night in Montreal. It was a great game, by the way, back and forth, and Jack Hughes gets the game winner in overtime, 4-3, stopping the bleeding to the New Jersey Devils. That 4-game losing streak, Keefe kind of lost it on the team with an angry tirade saying we need to be better on the morning skate, the morning of the Boston game, and they have notched back-to-back wins since then. We'll see if they can keep things rolling here tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers in this one. Yeah, that's important to note. Flu bug is affecting multiple teams right now in the NHL. Terry Ray Vegas is alluding to John Tortorella saying that he's got Philadelphia Flyer players yakking their guts out in the dressing room. I shouldn't have described it that way. It's pretty gross, but nevertheless, we've got a flu situation here with the Philadelphia Flyers tonight in this game. New Jersey's lost already to Philly recently. Remember, Philly went to Jersey just 9 days ago, and they beat the Devils 3-1. That was a very low event game. 31 shots total in the game, 18 by New Jersey, just 13 for Philadelphia in that game. So We'll have to see how this one plays out. This is another one. It's, as you can tell, not a big fan of this. This game, New Jersey coming off the 4-3 win. I'm still not there with Allen, and Jake Allen's going to have to be the guy moving forward with Jacob Markstrom out 4 to 6 weeks. Hischier, by the way, out as well. He ended up leaving the game late against Montreal on Saturday, and he will not go tonight for the Devils, so they will be without their captain here for this game. On the Flyers side, Sam Ersson is going to get the start. Of course, Jake Allen already confirmed. Jonathan Davis is liking what I'm liking, and the flu concerns me that the Flyers have got this running through, and you don't feel great as a team, but I'm almost compelled to take that 2.5. That's what I prefer. I don't know if I trust Philly to win the game at plus 120, but I think they can score 3 here against Allen, and there's the stat that bears it out. Jake Allen has given up 3 goals or more in 7 straight starts for the New Jersey Devils, and that's all we need as far as Philadelphia to cash this team total ticket. Just get me 3 goals out of them, and we're good. So that is probably what I will look at here as a Flyers team total over. Normally I split with the money line, but New Jersey is playing they're getting their offensive confidence back again. 9 goals in the last 2 games. I guess that kind of means I'm leaning full game over here in this game as well. And I would lean full game over here as well, 5.5. But I prefer the team total here with the Flyers because my first thought when I handicapped this game, Alex, is this Flyers team total 2.5. Doesn't Allen normally give up at least 3 goals? And sure enough, he's given up 3 and 7 straight. Yeah. So Flyers team total is of interest to me, over 2.5. And you can get that at minus 122 at Pinnacle. Pretty good price. What do you think here, Alex? Devils, Flyers.
Yeah, this is one I'm gonna wait for live because this could be a game. Like I said, if you guys see how Philly's feeling, if they're kind of just lethargic, but New Jersey isn't taking advantage of it either. This could be one of those sleepy kind of 1-1, 2-2 games and go past regulation. So I do have a little bit of the draw plus 320, but I don't even really like that. It's a small bet for me. So nothing, like I said, nothing side total now, but definitely would be looking live. If New Jersey can maybe hop out and get a quick goal, maybe this is one where we look at grabbing, some adjusted, maybe like you said, team totals with New Jersey. Or looking at it even over 6.5. I know we've been seeing a lot of these first period overs turn into full game unders, but this could be a game where, like I said, it depends on how Philly's feeling and what they're looking like in the first few minutes before I make any bigger bets.
No doubt, that's definitely something you want to keep in mind regarding this game. And again, the flu situation leaves a little bit of a dark cloud over this game, but like I said, I still think the Flyer team total over is probably worth a shot here in this game. As far as player props for this game are concerned, there's one I particularly like for New Jersey because of the absence that we're seeing here involving Nico Hischier. Dawson Mercer is going to get elevated. He's playing between Nason and Meyer, it looks like tonight. So Dawson Mercer, our man from Newfoundland, I think is worth a look here as far as player prop tonight for New Jersey is concerned. Keep an eye on that. And then for Philadelphia, it's basically, Tip Frost centering the top line. I've mentioned him repeatedly, but it's with good reason. He's definitely been someone that's been good lately. Noah Cates has been streaky. He's starting to streak in the better direction lately as far as offense. But Morgan Frost is the primary look for me for Philadelphia here tonight in this game. Tippett certainly has had a lot of success, as Jonathan mentions, against Jake Allen, so maybe you go in that direction. Dougie Hamilton, 2 goals in 2 games versus Ersson. So and that's something I don't incorporate as much as Jonathan or maybe some other people with their prop handicapping, Alex. I don't really look at players versus a specific goalie. But if there's something to it and you're noticing tendencies and success, it's something I probably should look at, because I just usually look at just the base numbers. Are you in good form overall? How are you doing? Where's your position in the lineup? That's usually how I bet the goal props. But as Jonathan's strategy is, players against a specific goalie that have had big time success is an angle you can use.
And I will look at that sometimes. I oftentimes obviously look at versus a team, and so you can kind of almost have that correlated, right? Like if we're talking about 10 goals against Tampa Bay in the last 5 years, more than likely those were mostly against Vasilevsky. If we're talking about 12 goals in 7 years against Winnipeg, we're talking about so you can kind of mix and match. You can't obviously you got backups and different things that change. But yeah, it's something to incorporate a little bit more for sure in looking at some of those goal props.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Stefan
Oh,
Nason,
and
that'll be on
one more
Matt's
thing I was
card,
going to say.
guaranteed. Yeah,
You
go
mentioned
ahead.
him with Morgan Frost. Would Morgan Frost be in that category? I kind of mentioned this. It seems like around this time every year, where certain teams that are middle of the road or weaker teams in a price like this, if you like Philly, couldn't you just parlay Philly with Morgan Frost to get a better price? Because usually when the Flyers win, it's Morgan Frost scoring a goal.
You could do that. You could do
Yeah,
that. It's always a little risky because you never know with
it
the goal
is.
props. But I mean, certainly if you want to look for a little ROI boost,
Yeah.
like I say, you don't have to go wild and nuts with the amount you put on it. A couple bucks, and it could turn
I mean,
into
just
something.
some certain bad teams, middle of the road teams, like the Hawks, for example. You could easily just go Hawks and
Tippett's the guy that
Bertuzzi.
stands out to me as the guy that when he
Okay.
scores, Philly wins. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
But you can
yeah.
isolate that with some of these. I think bottom 10, bottom 15 teams. A player who consistently scores whenever they win, parlayed with their money line, that just to give you a little extra boost is something to think about on a short card night like this.
See, there we go. Oilers are 12-1 when the Nuge scores. There you go.
Yeah.
So if you like
Yeah.
Edmonton and they're a big favorite,
And
just
that, and a
dumb
big
it down to
favorite.
money line with RNH to score. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. There is certain situations and teams and players where that makes sense, where they score 90% of the time when they win 90% of the time when that guy scores. No doubt. That's okay, Matt, if you're passing tonight, but I think you're scheduled to be back with us tomorrow, so you better not be passing tomorrow on the card. I doubt that will be the case, especially with Dallas playing. Dallas is in action tomorrow night, part of the Tuesday card. Vegas once again. All right, next up we've got Vancouver and St. Louis. This is a game where I actually have something tangible that I like here. We've got St. Louis minus 135, home favorites 5.5. No leans, no lukewarm opinions, none of that bullshit with this game. For me, there's stuff we really like. Obviously, what we like here, with this particular matchup here, it's definitely a couple of things that stand out. Obviously, with the St. Louis Blues off a 2-0 shutout loss to the Dallas Stars on Saturday night, Casey DeSmith very solid. We're obviously on the system play here. First period over, full game over. There's some people that like the gift, goal in first 10 minutes in the first period as well with these system plays. So I do like that. First period over, full game over. As far as the side is concerned, though, I know they've lost 2 in a row at home to Vegas and Dallas. They've only scored 2 goals in those 2 games. Vancouver gets the 2-1 win versus the Washington Capitals the other night. But I think when you look at this matchup here, the Blues are in a good situation. Oh, yeah, it's on Monday. It's only on Prime. Thank you, Super. Yeah, it's a Prime game with Johnny Forsland tonight. Thank you. But, yeah, I got to mention that. I think it's a good spot for St. Louis. And anything, I wouldn't lay much more than this, but I think at minus 135, it's Blues for me. Vancouver, you want to trust them to win 2 in a row? Let me give you this stat for you. 0-8. You know what 0-8 is? Last 8 games off of win for the Vancouver Canucks. 0-8. They have lost 8 straight times off of victory, this hockey team. And now you got St. Louis coming in here. Like I said, off 2 losses. So the Blues is, I think, a spot where we can trust them here. Minus 135. Like the system play, obviously, over 1.5, over 5.5. I also like the draw here. This is a draw look for me as well with these 2 teams. 4 of the last 6 meetings have gone past regulation. 2 straight have gone past regulation between the Canucks and Blues. Now, both of those were in Vancouver, but still, 2 straight meetings, including the only meeting earlier this year, did go to overtime between these 2 teams. And by the way, we've seen the over hit in this series 3 of the last 5 head-to-head meetings as well. So that's what we're looking at here is Blues over by Fecta system play and also the draw. Alex, what do you think here, Vancouver, St. Louis?
Ooh, I got to go the old not so fast, my friend. I do not like this draw here. I like the Blues in regulation.
Okay.
Now, I laid regular money line minus 110 last night.
Yep.
And then it was 120 this morning. I was on BetQL Daily. Shout out to Sammy P and Joe O. And then all of a sudden, this thing ballooned up to 140. And now it's come back down a little bit to 130, 135 at a lot of shops and books. But I would recommend betting St. Louis in regulation. Like you said, Vancouver, they can't string wins together. 0-8 off of a win the last 8 games. You just still can't trust what this locker room is like right now. And I feel like this, until they move either Miller or Pedersen or both, this is a team that you either fade or just stay off of. So I'm fading them tonight. Give me St. Louis in regulation. I got plus 110 is what I'm seeing for regulation price.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes props are absolutely worth a look. Shots, goal, assist. He's carrying this team. Whatever success they do have in games, he's carrying them. He was phenomenal against Washington. The captain led that Canucks team and carried them to victory against the Capitals. Now, they had to hang on for dear life. They almost blew it. Because Washington had every chance possible to tie that game, but there's no doubt that he has certainly done a great job here for the Vancouver Canucks. And like I said, he's having a great season, even though the team hasn't been really all that great. And speaking of Sammy P, again, my apologies, Sammy P. I did not know he was going to be that way. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, next up, we've got Seattle and Edmonton. We've got Edmonton minus 300 home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. This is another one where I would lean. I like over by Fecta, but again, slant more to the first period over. Edmonton's got the first period heater going right now. They're on a consecutive game first period over streak. It hit us all like a ton of bricks because we're thinking, well, looks like this first period over streak is going to end for the Edmonton Oilers on Saturday afternoon against Buffalo. And then all of a sudden, bam, 1-0 Buffalo. 30 seconds later, 1-1 in the final 5 minutes of the first period. And it ended up being a 1-1 period, and there's the first period over, which I do like once again here in this game with the Kraken and the Oilers. First period over, smaller probably on the full. It's definitely smaller on the full game over with it being 6.5 here in this game. But definitely the first period over I like. I think it's 5 or 6 straight. I think it's 5 straight now for Edmonton first period over, and it's 8-1 in the last 9, as Terry says in the chat. So first period over for sure, smaller on the full game over. I'm kind of feeling, let's be real. Edmonton did not play great against Buffalo, and they just snuck out of there with the win. That's kind of what I feel this spot is for Edmonton. If you're going to lay it with them or take them in any way, on the money line or puck line, you're going to be sweating this one, I think. I know Seattle's a tough team to trust right now. They are a team that's obviously out of the playoffs, probably not going to make it, but they have won 3 of their last 4. Now you could quibble Pittsburgh and Buffalo were 2 of the wins. They did beat LA at home 4-2 as well. They picked it up a little bit. I could see them giving Edmonton a tough go. The problem they've got to overcome is they've had 0 success against the Oilers, 6 straight head-to-head meetings won by Edmonton over Seattle. But I would say if you like Edmonton, just be careful here tonight. This feels like it's going to be a close game, tight game. I think Seattle comes to play. Will it be enough to win? I don't know. But at this price, maybe I get a pizza money bet in on Seattle at the plus 250 because I really do think they're going to push Edmonton in this game. Will they be enough to win is the question. But primarily what I like the most here is, and that might be a good approach too, says Damon Williams, first period. Because if you look at the Buffalo game, Buffalo scored that first goal. Edmonton came back and won the game, though. This could be that same type of deal. Like sleepy and early for Edmonton, maybe not on their toes. Seattle, trying to get things rolling. First period, you could see them maybe carry a lead in the first. Or another thing, too, if you don't trust Seattle defensively, not just take Seattle first period money line, split it with the first period team total. Take advantage of that over at BetMGM, where you can bet the first period team totals. Take advantage of that. That might be an approach I use if I'm going to get involved with Seattle here. First period is also that first period team total. And it is indeed going to be Calvin Pickard in net here for the Edmonton Oilers. And it's a conundrum here with Decord if he starts against Seattle, because he's obviously a goalie we like. His numbers are pretty solid, but he's had 0 success against Edmonton, Joey Decord. And this has been a bugaboo team for him. He has struggled against the Oilers. We'll see if he can turn things around against them here tonight. All right, Alex, what do you think here in this one, Seattle, Edmonton?
All right, so I got an interesting strategy for this game tonight. I'm putting a little bit of just beer money right now on pregame over 1.5, minus 140. I'm going to look, of course, for an adjusted price in-game, try and get something closer to plus money. I'm also betting pregame a little bit more on second period, goal in the first 5 minutes, plus 122 available at FanDuel. You go to patreon.com. We've talked about the evolution of System Play 1, where games that don't go over in the first period, we see these goals come in the first 10 minutes of play. So I'm betting this pregame. Second period, goal in the first 5 minutes, So I call it G5, second period. That's plus 122 at FanDuel, along with a small bet on first period over 1.5 minus 140, which I'll be adding more onto in game.
Very interesting. I like actually a lot of that strategy that you got there, no doubt. All right, so like I said, interesting game here. Pickard's always Pickard is. I still say I lean to not trusting him as much. That being said, 6'2", he was in net when they beat Vancouver. He only gave up 2 goals, and he's actually on a run right now where he's given up 3 goals or less in 4 straight starts. So he hasn't been as bad as some people just automatically assume he is. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that rolling. As far as props tonight, Schwartz, Beniers, and Kakko, I like that line. They don't always score, but I find they generate, and eventually you could see that line pounce and get a few goals. Arvidsson and Podkolzin and Henrique, I think there's some value on that line right now. Now, apparently, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for Jonathan because he likes Jeff Skinner. I don't know if he's playing tonight. I've got I'm looking at for some reason that he's out or he's not in the 4 lines here for Edmonton tonight. Let me just check daily faceoff. I want to make sure I double check multiple sites here to make sure this is not some kind of gaffe or some kind of error here right now. No, I don't see. I don't see Skinner
left wing
tonight as of now. I don't. Yeah, he's either a healthy scratch or there's an injury keeping him out.
Yeah. Or maybe there's something else going
on. But right now they got Noah Philp, Kasperi Kapanen, and Corey Perry is the 4th line. Brown, Nuge, and Janmark 3rd line. And then, like I mentioned, Henrique with the two Vs, the 2 flying Vs, Vasily and Victor. And then McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, top line. So no Skinner possibly tonight. Yeah, no doubt. So disappointing for that angle if he doesn't go. All right, next up, final game of this Monday NHL card. We've got Pittsburgh and San Jose. Pittsburgh in this game.
Hey, Skinner's having a baby.
Oh, it's his wife?
Okay,
there you go.
Yeah, his wife's having a baby.
Okay, away for, yeah, exactly. For wife is expecting, so there we go. About to be a dad. So there you go. Yeah. That's the answer for you.
All right, so goal property comes back.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. There's another angle. You become a new dad, you score. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's crazy how often it has happened. All right, Penguins and Sharks, final game. Pittsburgh minus 165. Road favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. Look, I like me some Askarov long term. It's not all him, but he's hit a wall, and they're not defending well, this team at all. And okay, at some point maybe they turn it around, but I'm not leaving money on the table anymore. Florida, I jumped in with the Georgiev angle, fading San Jose in the first period, team total, all that, puck line. I did take a little Florida full game team total as well. And of course, San Jose gives up 7. They've given up 6 or more in 4 straight games. They've given up 4 or more they've given up 6 or more in 4 straight games. They've given up 4 or more in 6 straight games. This team is just turned into it. Well, they were never good defensively, but they are just really awful right now. And they are just a walking, skating, living, breathing red light district for the opponent right now. That is what the San Jose Sharks are right now. So this is definitely going to be a Pittsburgh team total over 3.5 for me. There's no question. That is something I am on. And I know this is Pittsburgh. This is the flightiest, flakiest fucking team you'll ever see in your life. And I know they're off 2 straight losses to Seattle and Anaheim, 1 goal in each. This is the end of this road. No, they have 1 more at Utah, but now they've lost 3 of the last 4 on this trip. They need a win here, and San Jose is the kind of team that can gift them goals with the way they're defending right now. So Pittsburgh team totals of interest to me. They're just so awful defensively. It's hard not to envision even the Penguins get into 4 goals against them tonight. And the full game over, 6.5. I'll take a shot there too. As Pittsburgh's gone over the total here in a few of their games recently. But the head-to-head series is what stands out to me for this over as well. 4-1 to the over. And look at some of these games. 10-2, actually, the last time Pittsburgh was in San Jose. But the last 3 meetings, 10-2, 6-3, 4-3. All of them going over the total. So I'm going to do a Penguins team total over. And full game over split here with the Penguins and the Sharks. Alex, final game, Pittsburgh, San Jose.
It's another one live with the over by factor. Looking to grab a 6 at a cheaper price, and then looking to grab something minus 120 or better with the first period over. But being a late night game, that's something we can do. Just kind of take advantage of using the time. So just going with live overs.
See, I would trust the Sharks' miserable defensive play to improve maybe slightly if they were playing a team that wouldn't be focused on them, a team that would take them lightly. I just don't know if Pittsburgh's going to be that. Pittsburgh should come into this game not taking San Jose lightly off 2 losses to Anaheim and Seattle back-to-back. There's a good stat. Pittsburgh, 4 more goals in 16 of their 20 wins this season. So they've had 20 wins, 16 of those wins. Pittsburgh has scored 4 goals. And like I said, the team total to me is very reasonable here, given what we're seeing out of San Jose's. Like I said, they've given up 4 goals or more in 6 straight games. And, it's all we need out of Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh team total over 3.5 here, minus 104 is the best price with that. And like I said, full game over here, 6.5, pretty much across the board. You can get that as low as minus 104 as well. And then as far as props go, there are a couple props here that stand out in this game. I think on the Pittsburgh side of the equation, Raquel, Cody Glass repair. We've talked about him. You know what's funny is Kevin Hayes has even stepped up and punched some goals in lately for this Penguins team, if you can believe it. And he's centering the second line for them as well. So does he find the back of the net? We'll have to wait and see. Let's talk about Alex's favorite, former Chicago Blackhawk. For the 2 minutes, 2 seconds he was there, Anthony Beauvillier for the Pittsburgh. I'm kidding, of course. Anthony Beauvillier. He's actually, 2 goals in his last 5 games, and I bring him up because he's on the top line tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mike Sullivan giving him the shot here with Sidney Crosby and Ricard Raquel. So, I'm going to bet Anthony Beauvillier to score a goal tonight. Can't believe it. If he can't score with Crosby, and against San Jose, who's given up 4 goals in their sleep here in the last 6 straight games, when's he going to capitalize? When's he going to score here for the Pittsburgh Penguins? So I think it's a good look here, Mr. Beauvillier here tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins on that top line. So those are, and then for San Jose, when you look at their situation, there is something. They have been scoring a little bit lately, even though they can't keep the puck out. The offense hasn't been that bad. Will Smith's starting to get going. We've been waiting on him. He's got 4 straight games with a point. He has 2 goals in the last 4 games as well for the San Jose Sharks, along with that 4-game point streak. So Will Smith plus 390 to score a goal. Just to get a point is plus 142 at Pinnacle for Will Smith. Just to get a point. So the point prop, and I don't bet many point props, but plus 142 on a 4-game point streak, it's a great price. There's no doubt about that. Worth a look. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. A reminder, tomorrow, it's a big Tuesday. Daily show, 2 p.m. Eastern, to break down the huge Tuesday card. Matt Robinson will be back in the house too for that. And then, of course, at night, tomorrow night, Patreon exclusive live betcast. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, January 28th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you're there. These betcasts are a ton of fun. Like I said last time we promoted this betcast, it's a really intriguing card tomorrow night. The Patrick Laine Bowl. Habs, who are red hot, versus the Jets. Rangers Hurricanes, little playoff rematch. Stars and Golden Knights, another playoff rematch. So we got some good games on the slate tomorrow night for sure. Chicago, Tampa Bay, as we try to roll along with this first period overrun. So it's just a really intriguing card tomorrow night. Great night to have our Patreon exclusive live betcast tomorrow night, Tuesday night, January 28th, 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is a great segue into our 50% off Patreon membership discount offer. Take advantage of this. It's still on at the Patreon page now through Wednesday at midnight is when this offer expires. And again, this gives you the chance to sign up, subscribe, become a Patreon member just in time for our Patreon exclusive live betcast. Now, the membership discount is in effect for just the first month of your subscription. Then it goes back to the regular price. So it's for the first month that you get that 50% off from $10 a month down to $5 a month. So take advantage of this. 50% off Patreon membership discount by signing up at patreon.com/iceguys and use the promo code BETCAST50, BETCAST50 to take advantage of that 50% off Patreon membership. And make sure you do it before tomorrow night. Join us for the BetCast. Be there. Show your support, because it's the Patreon members and their subscription and their generosity that keeps us going for the long run and giving you this great show and this great content. The best damn NHL betting show anywhere. I don't care what anyone says. 7 days a week. And to keep it going, make sure you support the Patreon page. And we're giving you that chance at 50% off. Patreon.com/iceguys. Use the promo code BETCAST50.
And as I mentioned earlier, the article, The Evolution of System Play 1, is up. We've got charts from Chris Otto that's up. My charts for the goalie charts will be updated tonight after the games. So definitely take advantage of that offer at Patreon. But also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Today's the last day. It expires at midnight Eastern. 15% off all items at the store. You hit on the redeem button at the homepage, add everything to your cart. 15% will be taken out at checkout. Check out all the new items, the new look of the website as well. All that right now at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Make sure you check it out. Last day for 15% off. So check it out at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Tailgaters Social, and a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page.
All right, shout out to all our great sponsors and, of course, Boston Hemp Inc. on a solid fire Monday. It is a Boston Hemp Inc. 20% off all orders on the website using the promo code ICEGUYS at bostonhempinc.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night. Encore, hopefully, for me after Nazar. Frankie Nazar gets it done last night for the Chicago Blackhawks. See if we can give you another bargain bin hit tonight. Alex, we'll start with you for this Monday bargain bin special. What do you like?
Yeah, I'm checking my phone and I see that it's 37 degrees outside. It's actually above freezing here. It's like a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So we go to St. Louis, taking on Vancouver, and we're going with Jake Neighbors. You get him plus 350 at FanDuel. You can also get him plus 350 at BetOnline. So Jake Neighbors, anytime goal scorer for the St. Louis Blues tonight. Hoping for a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's my bargain bin special for Monday.
It's a beautiful day to score a goal. It's a beautiful day for a neighbor. Could you score, please? Could you score, please? Jake Neighbors for the St. Louis Blues.
That's good.
Not bad. Jake Neighbors for the St. Louis Blues, plus 350 for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. Bargain bin special for me. I'm going to go back to Devils and Flyers. Give me the Newfoundlander out there on the East Coast. The East Coaster. He's going to center the second line with the injury to Nico Hischier tonight. Dawson Mercer, New Jersey Devils, plus 380. at BetMGM, the best price out there for him. I think that's a good look as far as goal prop. Almost went with Will Smith for San Jose, but I'm going to go with Dawson Mercer here for the New Jersey Devils. Plus 380 for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets for this Monday. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Well, between this and my bargain bin, I guess you could say it's a Blue Monday. Give me the St. Louis Blues in regulation, plus 110. That is going to be my Monday best bet.
There you go, St. Louis, and I like that bet too. St. Louis, although I'm going safer, money line. I had no argument with looking in regulation for the better value. St. Louis in regulation for Alex against Vancouver for his bargain, for his best bet, I should say, for this Monday NHL card. My best bet for this Monday NHL card, let's rock with that Seattle Edmonton first period over. Let's go with that. It's I probably wouldn't use this as best bet if it was a bigger slate, bigger card, but it's a smaller card. We had a first period over winner as best bet last night. I like this one here tonight. Seattle Edmonton first period over 1.5 minus 140. Consecutive game first period over streak in play for Edmonton. And Seattle long term is still on a great first period over streak. It has slowed down a little bit, but still overall, it's been a long, good, strong run to the first period over for Seattle. So Kraken Oilers, first period over, 1.5 minus 140 for my best bet here for this Monday NHL card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. And again, a reminder, the countdown's on. Betcast night tomorrow night, Patreon exclusive, which means to watch the Betcast and to join us on the stream, you must be a Patreon member. And to do that, sign up now with the 50% off Patreon membership discount, patreon.com/Ice Guys, promo code BETCAST50, BETCAST50. Be there tomorrow night for the Patreon exclusive live Betcast. A big Tuesday coming up. We'll be back, of course, with the Daily Show tomorrow, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, me, Alex, and Matt. And then, of course, we've got the Betcast Patreon exclusive coming up at night. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Back with you for a Monster Tuesday right here on the Ice Guys.